I'm Lila Cadon, and this is Let's Talk with Susan Pickford. Now, Susan, you're running as independent for the Court of Common Pleas judge.
Correct.
Now, this election this year is really confusing when you look at all four candidates.
It is.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. This election has been strange and different on many levels. First of all, any candidate for a judicial position and school board positions can cross-file. Normally with every other position like county commissioners, local township supervisors, you have to run in the party that you're registered in. So if you're a Democrat, you run on the Democratic ticket. If you're a Republican, you run as a Republican. But for judges and school board, you're allowed to cross-file. So if you're a Republican, you can get signatures from Democrats as well and be on both sides of the ticket in the primary.
So does that mean that Republicans can run as Democrats?
Correct.
For judge?
Correct.
Even though the registered party is as a Republican?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the way that works is the people who are cross-filed appear on both ballots at the primary, because when you go to the primary, you only get your party's ballot. So in this case, there were 5 Republicans who ran in the primary for the court. Okay, there were no registered Democrats that ran for judge. So 5 Republicans, only 4 of them cross-filed, so those 4 names were on both the Republican and the Democratic ballots for the primary.
Okay.
Okay, now Matt Smith and Kirk Sahanich won the Republican primary, and Lisa Grayson and Matt Smith won the Democratic primary. Okay, so now you have 4 people, all Republicans, but on Republican and Democratic ballots.
Okay. So even though they might have Democratic next to their name, there are no Democrats running for judge for Court of Common Pleas.
No registered Democrats.
No registered Democrats. Okay.
So then, in the end of September, on September 30th, Kirk Sahanich, who had won the Republican primary, withdrew from the race. He got court approval and he withdrew from the race. So then there was 1 Republican on the Republican side, and then 2 Republicans, or 2 Republicans, I'm sorry, on the Democratic side, because Matt won both.
Right.
Okay. So then the Republicans were allowed to put in another person on the ballot. They put in Carrie Himes. Carrie did not get any petition signed and did not appear in the primary. So she is now a Republican on the ballot for the general election. So now you have Matt Smith and Carrie Himes on the Republican with R's behind their name. And Lisa Grayson, who is a Republican but will have a D behind her name, and me, who has an I behind my name, and yeah, so there are 4.
So if people go and they vote straight Dem, they're not actually voting for any Democrats. If they do vote straight Dem, they will be voting for 2 registered Republicans.
If you vote straight Republican, you're going to get Matt Smith and Carrie Himes. If you vote straight Democrat, you're going to get Lisa Grayson and Matt Smith, who are both Republicans.
But
And you will not get me, who's an independent.
And Carrie Himes just got into this race, and she didn't have to earn petitions. The voters didn't choose to have her on the ballot.
Correct.
Okay. So it's very confusing, but we've clarified some things. So if you are voting and
There is another issue.
there is an issue, yes.
There are 2 seats available. The ballot will say vote, I believe it says vote
2.
for 2. You don't have to vote for 2. If you find a candidate among those 4 that you really like and you want to make sure that they get into the position of judge in Cumberland County, just vote once. It's called a bullet vote or a super vote. And that gives that person's vote more power.
And can you do that for any
of them?
Any of them, any category you vote in? Commissioner, township commissioner, you can.
Right.
Makes sense.
These are also 10-year terms. I don't know if people are aware of that. They're very long terms. So it's a 10-year term, and at the end of that 10-year term, you don't run again, you only run for retention. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. So I believe there's 1 judge that's up for retention in this election, and it will only have his name and a yes or no, whether or not to retain him. So realistically, what you're looking at, and people don't understand that a lot, and these judges, I don't know one that's never been retained. So look at these people and decide whether you want them on your bench for 20 or 30 years, because depending on their age, they could get retained year or term after term.
Term after term. So,
It's an important election.
yeah, it is. Do your research thoroughly, and really make sure that the candidates you're voting for, you want them in office for 20, 30 years, not just 10, because that's a high possibility. All right, Susan, yes, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
I appreciate it.
And remember, go out and vote November 5th.